What's going on YouTube? Q back here again with another video for you. Today's video, we reached a milestone already, and this happened really fast. So we reached 5,000 miles in the Integra that fast. It's only been about 2 months so far, but we're here. So took 2 road trips in this car. Took one to Florida, another one to Alabama. That kind of put me over the top. It's windy out here. This Acura Integra is an amazing car, but it's not perfect. So I'm about to go over my experience in this 2 months, 5,000 miles that I've had. But I really enjoy this car. Like I couldn't have picked a better car for me as a daily driver. Like, it handles all my dad duties, just running errands. I can use this car for work as well. So it is just, there's nothing better for me. This is it. And it's comfortable. I'm gonna get into all that stuff. But before I do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, browse the channel. Let's jump into it. If you're new to the channel, my name's Q. I buy cars a lot. This is my latest car to the channel, and I'm just going over my experience with it. So it's my 2023 Acura Integra. Let's take a look around it real quick. So I got the gray one, and it is filthy. So this thing is seeing snow, seeing ice, seeing salt, and sand. Since I had that road trip, they use sand in the south. In Michigan, we built on a salt mine, so we use salt on our roads here, which rust out our cars. And my favorite part about this, I got the red interior. Really love that. Most people love it that see it. Shout out to the brother Race Car Friends for supplying me with this jacket right here. He's also a part of our group, the Men of Culture. So we got 100 Gang Nate as well, Blueprint 1LE. Go check out their channels. They're my guys, man. Go show them some love. But moving on to the Integra, let me talk about this car in the first 5,000 miles. So first thing I want to tackle is the fuel economy. Like I said, this is my daily driver. That stuff matters. Driving my Camaro, I got 13 miles a gallon. The Mustang got like 14 miles a gallon. So that's not efficient at all. I need something, because I do a lot of ripping and running a lot. So I need something that's a fuel miser, a fuel sipper, if you will. And this is excellent. This is the best car I ever had on gas. It even beats out my 2015 Mazda Sport, which had the 2-liter. So our best fuel economy in that car was 34.9, and I averaged 31.7 in that Mazda 3. In this Integra right here behind me, I've been averaging 32.6, and that's aggressively driving it. I took it easy on the Mazda. I drive this very aggressively, and my best miles per gallon was 37.9. So that is really good. That is stellar, especially out of a turbo engine at the 1.5 liter. I do have some criticism on that, because on the highway speed it could get better. So it is getting its optimal MPGs at about between 55, 60 miles an hour. It'll get over 40 miles per gallon. But once it hits 70 and 75, we got the RPMs turning out at like 3,000 RPM. So that's going to eat into our MPG, so it does way less. So I wish the gearing was taller for that 6th gear. So I mentioned a couple of road trips earlier. That's where I spent a lot of time, most of the time, in this car. And this car does extremely well. Like, when you downshift, you need the passing power. It does that really well. The shifter's really good. Downshift rev matching is excellent. It's probably one of the best that I've seen. The RPMs fly up to where you need it, to where I don't have an auto rev match. This car does a great job at doing that, and I love it. But one criticism about these road trips, I noticed my knee hurt because we got hard plastic. And that's what happens when you do some badge engineering. A little bit more than badge engineering, but this is a Honda Civic underneath, and it shows in certain parts, like this. So on these road trips, driving in cruise control, my leg is resting here. That is all hard plastic, very hard plastic. That plastic with your knee resting there, that is not a good spot to be. But besides the powertrain being excellent in here, being great at fuel, the transmission being just the best it could be, another thing that makes this car great, and I'm surprised the manual has this, is the self-driving capabilities. Like, it has adaptive cruise control, and that works together with the lane keep assist to where you're on a road trip, you can basically just sit there and let the car do its thing. It'll steer, it'll slow down, it'll speed up. The car drives itself, so while I'm there eating, I'm just letting the car do its thing. You don't have to have your hands on the steering wheel, but you do have to have your hands on the steering wheel, because after 20 seconds, it'll let you know, like, hey, put your hands on the wheel, and then it'll shut off. So you'll just go out your lane and like just crash. But we drive with our hands on the wheel, so hopefully that won't happen to you. But the automated driving in here is really good, and it's smooth too. I'm gonna have to do a video on that in the future. It's gonna take a little bit of work, but I'll do that soon. One of the best things about the Integra, and I cannot stress this enough, this is a great driving car. I don't know why people don't give it the sports car credibility. It is not fast in a straight line. It is not fast in a straight line. But where it does shine, and the best part about it, Motor Trend agrees with me, because it was a Car of the Year finalist. So it got like 4th place out of like 20, 30 something cars. It got the most surprising car and one of the best cars of the year as well. So they're on the same side as me. But the chassis on this car is so good, man. It can take it's just so fun driving this car hard around the curve. So I'm really liking this slow car fast thing with this Integra. So get to squeal my tires going around the curves, and it remains planted. So I do wish the suspension was a little firmer like the Civic Si. It's firmer in the Civic Si. But this has the adaptive dampers, and it's the more comfortable car. It's a luxury car. But I do wish, since it does have the capability to go from soft to firm, I do wish the firm setting was firmer, but it's firm enough. But the Civic Si is very firm. I wish this got very firm too. The worst thing about driving this car, it has rev hang. I never knew what rev hang was until I drove this car. Well, the Honda Civic to be more exact. But the Honda Civic has rev hang. This has rev hang. You can get rid of it with the tune, but stock, it is pretty bad. So when you're driving and you upshift, and race car friends can attest to it, go check out the video where he drove the Integra on this channel. It takes a second. So you rev, you clutch in, you gotta wait like a second for the RPMs to drop down, and then you shift for it to be smooth. Like if you're just normally shifting, it'll be like herky-jerky again. So that needs to be corrected. And while I'm on the subject of being corrected, on this road trip, this is probably worse than the rev hang. It is not about the driving dynamics. It is with the infotainment on this car. So while I'm cruising, I got the Apple CarPlay going, watching the navigation, listening to music. Since I've had this car, it has disconnected at least 40 times. No exaggeration. It's probably closer to 50 times, but no exaggeration, 40 times. I was just in Alabama a couple days ago, and I was using the navigation to get from one relative's house to the next. The radio just disconnected like at least 15 to 20 times on this 1 hour drive, and that is horrible. Number one, it was dark. Number two, I didn't know where I was going. Number three, it's messing up the music, but I really needed that. Apple CarPlay is probably one of the greatest features in the last 20 years to me. It projects the phone onto the screen of the car, so it's basically a phone in the car, makes driving easy. You know, here the heads-up display, it displays the navigation routes on there too, so that's another good thing about it. But with this disconnecting and with the Apple CarPlay, so I don't know if this is the Apple CarPlay issue or an Integra infotainment issue. I'm an expert in that. That's what I actually did for a living for like a decade, infotainment in automobiles, if you don't know, automotive engineer. But those things in this car, I don't know if it could be a CarPlay thing. And somebody chimed in on one of the videos about the things I hate. They said, and theirs didn't do it, but my car does it a lot. It's quite frequently. If I'm driving for like 30 minutes, I'll see it. When that does happen at times, like a navigation route is on, it'll say what's on the screen. The radio screen will be accurate, but on the heads-up display, it won't be accurate. And what's on the cluster, it'll show like a completely different song. So it gets stuck, and then it'll just knock the phone off. And it's connected to Bluetooth as well. It's not Bluetooth, it's connected by a USB. Hopefully this wind isn't too bad. But yeah, that is a huge annoyance. They gotta fix that. Like, I need that fixed. I want to call corporate about that. If you experience that, you call corporate. I'm about to do the same. Hopefully they see this video and my last video about the things I hate about the car, but that is a problem, man. It needs an over-the-air update. So something that other people brag about on this car is the road noise. That's honestly not an issue to me because I don't drive in silence. Like, I don't like to hear this engine of the car. You can barely hear the engine of the car because it's very quiet. Now is another thing I was going to touch on, but might as well say it now. The engine is very quiet, especially when you have the radio on, and the exhaust is very quiet. Thinking about getting some kind of exhaust work done to here to get something because you can't hear anything. But the stereo in here is the best that I've heard in any car. This ELS audio, phenomenal. My favorite that I've heard with these on ears. And I heard a lot of stuff, like all kinds of high-end stuff. This is the best that I've heard. But back to the road noise, I don't know. This is just my guess. So they have a speaker that's coming down from the ceiling by the windows, and I think they have a way to kind of like mitigate the road noise with that speaker playing the audio down in a certain way. Some kind of noise cancellation trickery, if you will. It could be, I don't know, it's my guess. All right, turn my flashlight on. There's a speaker right up here above the door by the oh shoot handle. But yeah, I think that helps cancel some of the noise. Or it could be just the way they set up the acoustics with these speakers to help to mitigate some of that. I don't know, but it's not an issue to me. And one last thing, driving this thing in traffic, the manual only. So when you're in traffic, you're stopping, you're going, you're on the accelerator, you're off the accelerator, you're back on again. The car gets a little herky-jerky and your head keeps hitting the headrest. So it's not smooth at all. It doesn't like to be driven slow, so it wants to be driven constantly. And I'll demonstrate that right here. Around 7 miles an hour, and that's when the gear engages. So you're releasing the clutch at about 7 miles per hour. You're in first gear. But let's say you get in the first gear fully, it gets herky-jerky. Well, not like that because I just released the clutch too fast. But let me show you right here. So 7 miles an hour, the pedal gets real sensitive, and around a certain point, you have to be super smooth. And even if you're not, it'll get herky-jerky. So this car doesn't like you halfway being on the gas, halfway on, halfway off. It's like, get me into gear, go to the next gear, and keep accelerating. If you're like indecisive or stopping and going, it kind of like rocks you back and forth, trying to get it to do it again. So see, there it kind of is between like 8 and 6 miles an hour. There is more so when you go back on the accelerator. So going 8, let my foot off, accelerating again, it kind of pushes you back, like got me looking like an anxious dog. All right, so it's exactly when you let off and then get back on it, it want to, like, there it goes right there. Yeah, so it's not really easy to modulate, and then the turbo kicks in at a certain point too, so that's even more of a thrust. But I noticed that being in stop and go traffic, it was just herky-jerky. It'll do that in second gear too, of course at higher speed. So this car wants to go to the next gear and just constantly accelerate till it gets to like, maybe it just wants to keep accelerating. That's my thoughts on the car so far. 5,000 miles review. I'm due for an oil change, and Acura has 2 years free maintenance, so that's on the house. I'm really enjoying this car as is, but one of the first things I want to do is get something with the exhaust. Might be a resonator delete, full exhaust, so I've been looking at those, watching miles roll out on here, waiting for that to happen. It's slowly but surely coming along. Even with these issues, that radio issue does suck though, can't lie about that, it's really annoying. But still enjoy the car. The driving dynamics, phenomenal. I think I made the right choice for me and what I do and my lifestyle. Super practical car, very economical, and the fun is still there. That's the whole thing I'm into, the fun of the car. And I can fit adults in the back seat of here. Junkie, I need to wash this car, but the kids love being in here. My dad approves of the car. I missed the chance to get that video. It sucked. Super practical with the lift back here. Keep a lot of stuff. There's my Powerade I've been looking for. But yeah, like, people love the car. Can fit big people in here, like adults. I'm 6 feet or 5'11", and people my size and girthier than I am can all fit in here. So I had a car full of 5. Everybody was comfortable. Driving on those hills, like uphill though, in the last video, I tried to take a hill in 2nd gear. Needed to start off in 1st gear, so that down low power there was needed a little bit of more to it, but it's adequate. Like I should have been in 1st gear to start off. But that's all I got for you in today's video. Definitely enjoying the car. If you got one of these, let me know how it's going for you. If you got a Civic, let me know. So that's my experience so far in the 2023 Integra. Looking for better days in here. Looking for that firmware update too for that radio crashing thing. Seriously, that's bad. Acura, get on Apple about that, or just internally look into that, because I'm shocked that's on the Honda product, but I'm pretty sure I'm leaning more so towards Apple on that. But looking forward to putting more miles on here. That, like, all those 500 miles, 5,200 miles only cost me $600 in gas. I can drive from here to Alabama filling up one time, and that is crazy good to me, because the tank is only 12 gallons. So every time I fill up about 10 gallons on the highway, like, I like that. I hope you enjoyed today's video as much as I enjoyed driving this car. So as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, browse the channel, check out my guys, I'm in the culture, MOC, and I'll catch you all out in the next video. Peace out.